To the point, I'm your host, Eric Mitchell. It is November 2nd, 2020, election eve. It's the biggest election that our country's ever seen, with voter turnout, with mail-in ballots, just amazing, record highs. We've seen them all over the country. In Texas, as we go to air, Texas has just lost their final attempt to throw out these 110,000 ballots that were done in a drive-through voting process where you dropped off your ballot. The GOP has been hard-earned, which to me shows that there's a lot of election confusion and that the Trump campaign, no matter how much they claim to have this victory sealed up, they're pretty nervous with the president having to fly and do over 17 appearances over the weekend, as leaving Miami as late as 1:35 a.m. this morning and starting off again freezing in North Carolina just this afternoon. It's bananas how much this term is panicking, how many Trump supporters are panicking, and a lot of people I'm hearing are going, Eric, I'm seeing these rallies and there's lots of people at them. How can you believe that Biden's going to win? Very easy. America is speaking at the ballot. Showing up to a rally is not a voter turnout. How many of those people actually know how to vote? How many of those people actually have voted? How many of those people have actually registered? There's a big difference between being a fan of the president and actually being a supporter of him and voting for him. We all have those members of our families that are voting for President Trump, just like we have members of our family voting for Vice President Biden. It's happening. They don't need to be public about it. In fact, most Biden voters you're not seeing with t-shirts and flags and every other thing that you need to do to say that you love the president more than you like your sports teams. Do you have a reason why you like the president other than you love his brash context, his hatred for the military, or the fact that he really wants to turn our country into a dictatorship? Because folks, over the weekend we saw something interesting take place, something I never thought I would see in all the years that I'd be alive, but 2020 and this shithead for a president, nothing shocks me anymore. What happened was on Saturday, cokehead Eric Trump, or Donald Trump Jr., was on his private plane living that life that we all know because we all fly private, and he told the voters in Texas to go harass and do the Trump train and harass, that's right, harass the Biden campaign bus as it went from spot to spot. Remember, the man's in his basement, but he was in Texas. Again, those people who have spent the time listening to Trump haven't actually looked at the data and actually what's going on. Biden and President Obama, President 44, as we like to say, besides dropping 3-pointers from the line, are actually out doing a lot of campaigning with record amounts of crowds, but they're following the CDC guidelines. See, folks, because in all of this, as you've seen these trucks try to ram cars off the road, the very president taking to Twitter and saying this, that's right, the president of the United States posted that he agreed with it and didn't understand why the FBI was investigating this, because they have other things to worry about, because cities across America have been burned down by Antifa. Now, I live in one of those cities that the president swears has been burned down, but it's still standing. I don't see any fire damage anywhere. All the buildings in Portland are standing. I actually went and checked. Buildings in Washington, D.C., still standing. Buildings in Philadelphia, still standing. Buildings in Minnesota and Minneapolis. Minneapolis still around. LA, still around. So these fires and this panic and this chaos goes along the lines with trying to find bullshit on Hunter Biden. That's right, they didn't find anything, and Tucker Bowtie Carlson had to crawl back into the hole that he came out of and go, shit, I was wrong. And I'm not going to apologize for my language because I'm sick of just being the voice while everybody else sits here and goes, oh, Trump, oh. Trump is nothing. He's a coward surrounded by bullies, and all he does is bully people. But when you get there and realize he's full of shit, that's at the end of the day. He's just full of shit. He's a full of shit person. He wants his TV time, folks. Presidents shouldn't care about what their ratings are. They should care about what they look like to the American people and the rest of the world. We've gone from the best country in the world when it comes to war and other things that we probably shouldn't be so happy to brag about, to the laughing stock. Everyone looks at our country like we're crazy. Remember, Trump and his followers believe that we've seen the worst of COVID. I'm telling you this as once again on Monday, November 2nd, 2020, we have reached levels that we didn't reach when COVID first struck our country. And mind you, just this morning, the President of the United States says he intends on firing Dr. Fauci right after he's elected. Well, thank God he won't be elected and Fauci will keep his job, because this is where we're at again, folks. We're at the point where we ignore ignore scientists and doctors for Fruit Loops in DC that aren't scientists, that aren't doctors, that have no redeeming value other than making sure they're taken care of. Because when the rest of us have to take our chances and fly on our planes that aren't private, because we fly things like United and Delta and American and Alaska, if I forgot anybody, Southwest, anybody else if I forgotten, I apologize. Delta, you have my love. Alaska, you now take most of our business because you just have a direct flight to where we like to go. You win. Basically, Delta and Alaska are the only airlines we fly. That's a side note. But I had to come on here and just go over this with everybody. We have an amazing guest today on the show. I'm excited for his segments. But I did want to cover this because here's another important thing. If you are healthy and you are voting tomorrow and you haven't done your mail-in voter and you're going to your polling place, be aware that the Trump people are spreading the following information. You don't have to say that you have COVID, but you can cough all over the place and then say you have COVID and shut down a polling place. Yes, that's what these cretins are going around doing. They're telling people. So when you see that, we will provide the information in this video so you can contact the appropriate folks. Even over at the Lincoln Project, we will stand up for you. Here at To The Point, the Lincoln Project, and other folks, we will not allow voter suppression to take place in this country. Nice try, Trump supporters. You will not win with that game. We will win this battle versus you clowns. You keep losing in court. You don't like the fact that record voters are turned out. And we've turned out not to vote in you again. We want our country back. Not a guy who goes around thinking people like Vladimir Putin and the piece of shit, cowardless, ballless dictator in North Korea have anything to do with our country. No, those aren't our allies. Those are not our friends. Those are people who kill their own people. North Korea, yeah, there's a guy who's so happy about himself that he kills his own family members. Those are guys that our president calls friends and is misunderstood. Yeah, it's misunderstood to kill your uncle because he wants to go live free and be able to eat on a regular. Things they can't do in, North Korea. I could roll a Whopper down the street in North Korea and those people would kill each other just to be able to have a morsel of food. Yep, but hey, our president wants you to be buddies with him. There's a lot of things going on in our country that don't make sense, but voter suppression should not and will not be tolerated in this country. And no matter what Donald Trump and his cowardless, non-servant ass and all the people who surround him and believe that everything he says is truthful, that he knows more than doctors. He doesn't. Folks, at the end of the day, this man knows nothing. And that's where we have to go to the ballot and vote. Hopefully you already did vote. Hopefully you already mailed in your ballot. If you haven't, I can't wait to see you guys stand in line tomorrow. Please share your pictures and tag To The Point. We want to see you doing that. We'll reshare them because we're so damn proud of you going out and exercising that right. And I really don't care who you vote for. I hope it's Joe Biden because that's who To The Point supports. But hey, if you vote for Trump, you vote for Trump. Exercise your right to vote. Do the research. But do not tolerate voter suppression. Do not be intimidated when militias show up or these little Proud Boy, little cowards, Proud Boy. Please, sound like you should be snapping. Proud Boy. What the hell's a Proud Boy? None of them are anybody's. They're going to try to intimidate you because they want their white supremacist leader to continue his white supremacist ways in destroying our country, using words like we want socialism and communism. These people don't know the difference. And dear haters, here, before we move to our segments of the show, dear haters who continually go to our YouTube page and say I'm a communist. Do you not know my background? Do you know that I have like 20 American flags surrounding me right now at this very moment? Like I have American flags all around this office. Behind me is a picture of like United States City. That's right. I'm not a communist. Nor do you guys know what the definitions of words that you're calling people. So it doesn't make much sense to call somebody a communist and not know what it really means. Look up the words. No one's looking to become a socialist and no one's looking to become a communist. What we're looking for is to not have a dictator who, no matter what, is never wrong. He has disrespected our military, disrespected our fallen heroes, disrespected women, disrespected the lesbian, the LGBTQ community. Yep, That man has done that by everything that he's done, by the people he's selected for the Supreme Court, to the people that he's put in office. And you know the man will trash anybody and everybody, because look what he does to our decorated generals. He trashes them. Look at his press secretary. She calls full-bird colonels low-level employees. No, my friend, you're a low-level employee. You're a nobody. That's a man who served. You've done nothing. Absolutely nothing. So, remember, go out and vote. Do not be intimidated. We have the links here for you. Please go and check those links and remember to vote. Tomorrow, we will have a special segment here where I will be covering early returns and what it looks like. And just some quick housekeeping. Go check out our 2 segments that you can go check out on YouTube right now. Amazing guest, political analyst Richard Bernstein joins me, and we are talking about what to expect in the election and what to expect when the polls start to close tomorrow. It's an amazing, great interview that I encourage you to head over and watch on our YouTube channel. You can catch those under our playlist for today's date and under 2020 election. Please watch and share with your friends. I appreciate you guys greatly, and be ready, because this is how we're doing the show moving forward. I'm going to come on, you're going to see me, and you can go catch out our interviews on our YouTube channel. That's right, head over to YouTube and you can see our interviews without the Eric monologue, full time. They're right there. Please go ahead and share them. So today's guest is Richard Bernstein. You can follow him on social. As always, make sure you smash that subscribe button while you're watching and share with a friend. Tell them what To The Point's all about. We have a great cast of characters this week on the show, really turning up the volume in November as we head into the end of the year, turning up the volume for To The Point. We're here for you guys. We appreciate you. And shout out to Linda Dubb. You rock. Your Bengals did it. Your Bengals, that's right. They beat the Titans. Made me happy. And Linda, good job on your team. I know you've been waiting for a big victory. Joey Burrows is the truth. Everybody else, thank you so much. Head over to our YouTube to catch the next segment. As always, on behalf of the entire team here at To The Point, I'm Eric Mitchell. Be safe, be strong, be smart, and God bless America. Now go rock that vote.